There's always that one person in every group. The one who doesn't raise their voice. The one who listens more than they speak. The one who, when the room is on fire emotionally, somehow stays centered, as if their soul has gravity. They're the ones people run to when life collapses, not because they have all the answers, but because simply being near them feels like deep water that has never been disturbed. This is their story. And maybe it's your story too. Here's a sample story of being calm. On a rainy Tuesday afternoon, inside a small coffee shop, a barista accidentally spills an entire drink on a customer. Most people would explode. A scene would unfold, voices would rise, tension spreading like static electricity. But this man, mid-40s, quiet face, eyes soft, just smiles. "It's all right," he says. "Accidents happen." No irritation, no judgment, no sigh of frustration. And here's the interesting part. Everyone around him feels themselves settle. His calm is contagious, not by force, but by resonance. Psychologists call this emotional regulation, the ability to feel a spike of emotion without being controlled by it. But it's deeper than that. Calm people don't choke emotions, they transmute them. Alan Watts once said, "You are under no obligation to be the person you were a moment ago." Calm people live by this without ever saying it aloud. They don't cling to the moment that just happened, not the spill, not the mistake, not the irritation. They let each moment float by like a leaf on a river. Why is it that calm feels rare? In a world built on urgency, calm is almost a rebellion. We live in a society that rewards instant reactions, fast decisions, quick anger, quick judgments, emotional reactivity disguised as passion. So when someone remains calm, it looks unusual, almost supernatural, as if they unlocked a doorway inside themselves that others don't know exists. But calm people aren't born with a magical gene. Their calm is a language one learned through childhood experiences, attachment styles, coping mechanisms, trauma, personality formation, spiritual insight, and deep psychological restructuring. Carl Jung wrote, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." Calm people are the ones who looked inside, willingly or through suffering, and found something stable. Sometimes their calm is earned. Sometimes it's a shield. Sometimes it's a superpower. And sometimes it's all three. Here's a hidden backstory of calm person. Let me tell you something rarely said out loud. Many calm people were not always calm. Some grew up in chaotic homes where shouting meant danger and silence meant survival. Their nervous system learned early, do not add to the storm, stay small, stay steady, stay quiet. For them, calm is not a personality trait, it's a long-built armor. Others grew up with a caregiver who provided stable emotional mirroring, soothing them gently when they cried, teaching them that emotions do not have to be feared or fought. For them, calm is a deep internal well. And others, a rarer group, grew calm as a result of spiritual realization, the kind of inner insight Alan Watts spoke about, that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. This isn't detachment, this is presence. Here's why their calm feels different. Calm people don't minimize problems, pretend nothing is wrong, stay positive in a forced way, suppress their emotions, or detach themselves from life. Their calm is active, not passive. They are present. They see what's happening. They feel everything, deeply.
but they respond as if emotions are waves and they are the ocean. Where others get pulled by the current, calm people seem to stand on the shore, watching the waves rise and fall without losing balance. And ironically, their presence makes others open up. People confess to the calm. People pour their hearts out to them. People fall in love with the calm. Not because calm people are perfect, but because their soul feels like a harbor. Here's the unspoken pressure of being the calm one. But here's the truth many calm people never admit. It's exhausting. Being the stable one, the one who keeps peace, the one who absorbs emotional storms, the one who de-escalates every conflict, the one who hides their own anxiety so others feel safer. Their calm is sometimes a gift and sometimes a quiet burden. Because when everyone sees you as the unshakable one, no one asks if you're okay. Calm becomes a role, and roles become prisons. This script isn't here only to admire calm. It's here to understand it, the beauty and the cost.
There is a blueprint inside every calm person. Not visible, not spoken, but felt. Calm isn't accidental. It comes from a quiet architecture built through years of experience, introspection, and sometimes survival. Let's step inside that architecture. Here's the nervous system of the calm. Before personality, before mindset, before spirituality, there is the body. People who remain calm often have a unique relationship with their nervous system. They don't resist emotions, they let emotions move through them. Think of anxiety like a wave. Most people tense up, brace for impact, and fight the wave. Calm people float. This is not weakness, this is regulation. Researchers in affective neuroscience describe calm people as having lower baseline sympathetic activation. Their fight or flight switch isn't easily triggered. Higher vagal tone. Their body returns to calm more quickly after stress. Better interoceptive awareness. They can feel small changes inside themselves early before emotions erupt. This creates a quiet kind of emotional intelligence. They feel the storm coming before others do, and adjust internally long before chaos breaks loose. Here's why they don't react immediately. Calm people rarely respond in the first few seconds of emotion. Not because they are slow, not because they don't care, but because something inside them whispers, "Wait." This pause is powerful. It creates space, a psychological distance between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl described this space as the birthplace of freedom. Calm people live inside that space. They let the first emotional surge pass, the one fueled by instinct, fear, memory. Only then do they speak. To others, it looks like patience, but internally, it's precision. They are choosing their words, not reacting to their wounds. Here's the attachment styles and emotional neutrality. Calm people often fall into two categories, and these categories shape how their calm operates. 1. Secure calm. These individuals grew up with stable emotional environments. Caregivers who soothed rather than punish, conversations instead of shouting, emotions acknowledged rather than dismissed. For them, calm is natural. It's the default setting. They trust the world, trust themselves, and trust that most problems are survivable. 2. Adaptive calm. This is the calm born from chaos. It is learned, not given. These individuals grew up in unpredictable households. Yelling, volatility, emotional storms, walking on eggshells. They learned early.
If I lose control, the situation gets worse. So they learn to speak softly, stay small, read emotional cues intensely, suppress their own reactions to protect themselves. Their calm is not peace, it is hyper-awareness wrapped in silence. But even this form of calm becomes valuable in adulthood because it evolves. As once was a survival mechanism, slowly becomes a tool of emotional mastery. As Carl Jung wrote, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." Many calm people grew from deep, dark soil, and that is why their calm feels ancient. Here's the emotional horizon mindset. Calm people don't look at the moment, they look at the horizon. When a problem arises, they ask questions others don't think to ask. Will this matter in a week? Is this a misunderstanding or a real threat? What's the intention behind the behavior? What's the wisest response, not the quickest? This long view perspective shrinks the emotional size of most problems. What others perceive as a wall, calm people see as a stone on the path. It's not that they don't feel, it's that they don't magnify. And because their mind doesn't amplify chaos, their heart doesn't drown in it. Here's their relationship with time. Calm people have a strange, almost mystical relationship with time. They don't rush, they don't cling to the moment, they don't fear stillness. Their internal pacing is slower, more deliberate, as though they live half a second behind everyone else, watching the world with gentle observation. Alan Watts would say they are in rhythm with the universe, not against it. They understand something that anxious minds forget. Most things resolve without our force. Most conflicts soften without our intervention. Most emotions pass if we stop feeding them. Calm people give life the time it needs. Here's the calm person's inner dialogue. Here's something surprising. Calm people rarely use self-critical thoughts like, "Why is this happening to me? I can't handle this." Everything is going wrong. Instead, their internal monologue sounds more like, "This is temporary. I can figure this out. Let me understand the full picture first. There's a solution somewhere." This inner dialogue becomes an anchor. Even when chaos hits, they don't sink because their mind is not their enemy. And when the mind is kind, the world feels survivable. Here's the weight they do carry. But calm comes with a cost. Because they don't react loudly, people assume they never get hurt, they are never overwhelmed, they don't need support. They can always handle more. They will always understand. So others give them the emotional weight of the room without realizing the calm one also needs a place to fall apart. Calm people bleed quietly, hurt quietly, break quietly. Their peace is visible, their pain is not. And this creates a strange paradox. The more calm they appear, the more invisible their struggle becomes.
Most people believe calm is purity, a clean, untroubled mind, a peaceful personality, a gentle temperament. But calm is not the absence of storms, it is the mastery of them. And every master has a shadow. Carl Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Calm people rarely show their darkness, but it is there. Quiet, patient, observing everything. Let's walk into that shadow. Here's the calm person's hidden anger. Yes, calm people get angry, but their anger is subtle.
It tightens in the chest. It sits like a weight in the stomach. It becomes silence instead of yelling. It becomes withdrawal instead of eruption. They don't lash out. They don't explode. They internalize. Because at some point in their life, they learned expressing emotion creates more danger. So they locked their fire behind a door. Their anger doesn't roar. It smolders. This is why calm people sometimes disappear from relationships, not because they stop caring, but because their quiet anger becomes a boundary they no longer explain. Nobody ever hears it, but it burns just the same. Here's why calm people attract chaotic partners. There's a pattern you'll see again and again. Calm people often attract emotionally volatile partners, anxious personalities, people who overshare, people who spiral, people who need constant reassurance. Why? Because calm stabilizes the unstable. It soothes the frantic. It absorbs emotional overload like a sponge. Chaotic people feel safe with them, but the calm one, they quietly drown. They become the emotional anchor, the grounding force, the unshakable base. But anchoring others takes a toll, especially when the calm one has no one to anchor them. Here's the shadow of self-abandonment. One of the deepest shadows of calm people is this: they abandon themselves first. They prioritize other people's comfort, other people's emotions, other people's needs, other people's storms. And they do it quietly, instinctively. This is the tragedy of the calm. They soothe everyone but themselves. When they finally need help, they don't know how to ask. The words get stuck. They stay polite even in pain. And the world mistakes their quiet suffering for strength. Here's the calm person's mask. Calm people rarely cry in front of others, rarely panic, rarely show vulnerability. Not because they're emotionless, but because they've trained themselves to be the steady one. They wear a mask of peace so convincing that even they forget it's a mask. Underneath it, there may be fear of burdening others, fear of conflict, fear of being too much, fear of being misunderstood, fear of their own intensity. The calm is not always who they are. Sometimes it's who they must be. Here's the Jungian shadow. Calm as control. Here is the secret Jung would insist we face. Calm can be a form of control, a way of avoiding vulnerability, chaos, unpredictability, emotional intimacy, losing oneself in a relationship. Calm people often rely on calmness the way others rely on anger or avoidance, as a defense mechanism. It is their shield, their strategy, their survival tool. They suppress internal storms so the world won't see how deeply they can feel. Alan Watts once said, "You cannot become what you already are." Calm people often pretend they are above emotion, when in truth, their emotions run deep, so deep they fear unleashing them. The breaking point of the calm. Calm people do break, just not loudly. Their breaking point looks like shutting down, withdrawing from everyone, losing interest, going numb, ghosting. I just need space, emotional exhaustion, feeling empty. While others explode outwardly, calm people implode inwardly. Nobody hears the collapse. Nobody sees the fragments. Their pain is silent, invisible even to those closest to them. And because their pain is quiet, most people never realize how close they were to falling apart. Here's the calm person's shadow gift. But here is something beautiful. Calm people are not calm instead of feeling. They feel so deeply that they must process emotions differently. This is why their shadow is not their enemy. Their shadow is their depth, their empathy, their intuition, their self-awareness. Their calmness is not emptiness, it is containment. And in many cases, their shadow is the birthplace of their greatest strengths: gentleness, understanding, emotional intelligence, patience, resilience, intuition, forgiveness. The calm you see on the surface is the visible tip of an ocean of emotional complexity. Here's when calm people finally turn inward. There comes a moment in every calm person when they stop using calm as a mask and begin using it as a tool for transformation. This moment is painful but powerful. When they realize, I am calm, but I am also tired. I help others, but I need someone too. I hide my emotions to protect others, not myself. I deserve to express, not just absorb. This is the beginning of their awakening, the beginning of true peace, not the performative kind, not the survival kind, but the liberating kind.
There's something almost mystical about the way calm people move through conflict. While others raise their voice, slam doors, or let fear drag their words into sharp edges, calm people stay grounded, centered, present. It's not detachment, it's not apathy, it's not weakness, it's mastery. Let's step into the storm and watch how they stay standing. Here's why calm people don't take things personally. This is one of the deepest psychological mechanisms behind their stillness. They separate events from identity. Where others might think, they yelled at me, I'm being attacked. They ignored me, I'm not important. They disagreed with me, I must be wrong. Calm people think, they're overwhelmed, not attacking me. They're distracted, not devaluing me. They're stressed, not intending harm. This subtle distinction protects their emotional system from being hijacked. It creates mental room, a buffer that allows them to respond, not react. They understand something crucial. Most people project their internal weather onto the nearest person. So, calm people don't absorb storms that aren't theirs. Here's the 3-second rule of the calm. There's a phenomenon psychologists call delayed emotional appraisal, the ability to not believe your first emotional reaction. Calm people naturally do this. They give themselves 3 seconds where they simply do not trust their initial emotion. In those 3 seconds, they ask, is this actually a threat? Is this emotion telling the truth? What else could this mean? Do I need to respond at all? This pause transforms their life. Arguments that would explode for others dissolve. Triggers that would ignite someone else lose fuel. Misunderstandings that would shatter relationships are softened. Calm people are not magical. They are strategic. They use time as their ally. Here's the calm person's emotional detangler. Imagine conflict like a knot. Most people pull harder, tightening it. Calm people gently separate the strands. They look at a situation and identify the emotion, the fact, the assumption, the intention, the misunderstanding, the tone, the fear beneath it. They break the knot apart piece by piece. This is why talking to a calm person feels disarming. Your anger dissolves around them. Your fear softens. Your overthinking unwinds. They don't just stay calm in chaos. They de-escalate it. Their presence becomes a quiet medicine. Here's why calm people speak slowly when others get loud. Not because they're scared, not because they're inferior, but because they know something the loud person doesn't. Volume is not strength. Stillness is. When someone tries to dominate with intensity, calm people lower their tone. This confuses aggression. It disrupts the momentum of the conversation. It resets the emotional balance of the conversation. Psychologically, this is called affect regulation through tone control. It's one of the most advanced emotional skills a human can develop. Calm people do it instinctively. Here's why calm people are emotional mirrors. Here's something almost supernatural. Calm people reflect back whatever emotion you bring into the room, but softened. If you're anxious, they make you breathe slower. If you're angry, they make you question your anger. If you're overwhelmed, they ground you. This is not manipulation. It's resonance. Their nervous system acts like an emotional tuning fork. Just as chaotic people intensify everything around them, calm people neutralize everything around them. It's why people confess to calm individuals, why strangers open up to them, why friends say, "I don't know why, but I feel safe with you." Their presence regulates other people's hearts. Here's the calm person's crisis mindset. When disaster hits, calm people switch into an unusual psychological mode. Solution before emotion. They don't suppress emotion, they delay it. Their brain becomes a command center. What can be done? What's within my control? Who needs help first? What are the facts? What's next? And once the crisis is over, then they feel everything. But by then, the world is already safer. This ability comes from emotionally intense childhoods, high emotional intelligence, trauma-tempered resilience, or years of inner work. It's why calm people make powerful leaders, not because they crave power, but because their steadiness stabilizes everyone else. Here's why calm people aren't afraid of silence. While most people rush to fill silence, calm people treat silence like an ally. They think before they speak. They listen without needing to interrupt. They let others finish their emotional arc. Silence is their laboratory. It lets them analyze tone, intent, fear, longing, meaning beneath the words. Silence helps them understand you better than your sentences do. Where other people talk to avoid discomfort, calm people sit in the stillness and watch the truth appear. Here's the stability people take for granted. Here's the painful part. Because calm people hold others during storms, people begin to assume they don't have storms of their own. They become the strong one, the balanced one, the wise one, the emotionally grounded one. And while these titles sound flattering, they are heavy. Calm people often carry the emotional labor of a group, the conflict others avoid, the decision-making in a crisis, and the burden of being dependable. Society rewards their strength, but rarely asks about their scars. This is why calm people often collapse in private. Nobody thinks the rock needs rest.
There comes a moment in every calm person's journey when the quiet inside them is no longer a survival strategy, but a homecoming. A moment when calm stops being something they perform and starts becoming something they truly embody. A moment when silence is no longer the space where they hide, but the place where they finally breathe. This is the awakening, the final evolution of the calm one. Not the calm shaped by childhood wounds, or the calm carved by emotional exhaustion, or the calm that existed only to keep the peace. No. This is the calm that rises from clarity, from healing, from a self that is no longer abandoned. Because to become truly calm, one must first become truly honest. Honest about what hurt. Honest about what was lost. Honest about how long they tolerated things that broke them. Honest about how far they wandered from themselves in order to keep others comfortable. And this honesty, gentle, steady, unavoidable, is where the awakening begins. Here's how calm people heal. For most calm people, healing does not arrive all at once. It comes in small, almost invisible shifts, tiny recognitions that slowly rearrange their inner world. Healing begins the moment they stop saying, "I'm fine," and start saying, "I'm feeling something, and it matters." It begins when they stop shrinking themselves to protect others. It begins when they finally sit with their own truth instead of excusing someone else's behavior. Calm people heal when they stop negotiating with their pain and start listening to it. Because pain isn't a punishment, it's information. It's the body whispering, "There is still something unspoken here." It's the heart saying, "You've carried this long enough." Healing for the calm ones is simply the moment they stop resisting themselves and allow the truth to rise. Here's how they reclaim their needs. Calm people often spend years, even decades, quieting their needs so others don't feel discomfort. They become the listener, the fixer, the safe person, the steady ground. But in this final evolution, they begin to realize something profound. Quietness is not the same thing as not needing anything. They learn that boundaries are not walls, they are forms of self-respect. They learn that saying no is not a rejection, it is a choice. They learn that wanting space, rest, reassurance, or understanding is not a burden, it is human. And slowly, gently, they start asking for what they once hid. Not loudly, not aggressively, just clearly. And every time they speak their needs, their inner foundation grows stronger, a new kind of calm built not from suppression, but from truth. Here's how they stop carrying everyone. At some point in their awakening, calm people finally realize carrying everyone is not compassion, it is self-abandonment. They cannot be the emotional regulator for every friend, every sibling, every partner, every coworker. They cannot be the place where everyone collapses while they have nowhere to fall. And so they begin to release roles that were never theirs. They let adults carry their own choices. They let others feel the consequences of their behavior. They let themselves step back without guilt. They learn to differentiate between supporting someone and saving someone. And the moment they stop carrying people who refuse to stand on their own, their soul exhales for the first time in years. Here's how they rise from self-abandonment. Self-abandonment is subtle. It looks like being easy to be around. It looks like being low maintenance. It looks like being the calm one. But inside, calm people often carry a lifetime of swallowed truths. The awakening happens when they finally turn toward that inner ache, the ache of all the times they walked away from themselves to keep a relationship alive. And in facing that ache, they learn something freeing. You cannot abandon yourself and stay whole at the same time. So they begin the journey home. They stop apologizing for their feelings. They stop minimizing their needs. They stop pretending they are unaffected. They return to themselves, piece by piece, moment by moment, truth by truth. And that return, that reclamation, is what transforms their calm from silence into power.
Here's how they build real, sustainable inner peace. The calm person's final evolution is not peaceful because life becomes easier. It is peaceful because they become clearer. They understand their triggers. They understand their boundaries. They understand their patterns. They understand what drains them and what restores them. And instead of battling life, they begin to cooperate with it. They create routines that protect their energy. They choose relationships that honor their emotional bandwidth. They build environments where their nervous system feels safe. This peace is not fragile. It does not shatter when someone raises their voice. It does not disappear when plans fall apart. It does not crumble under conflict, because this peace is rooted in self-knowledge, and self-knowledge is unshakable. Here's how their calm evolves into empowerment. In the end, the calm person's awakening leads to something unexpected. Their calm becomes strength. Not passive, not quiet out of fear, not peaceful to avoid conflict, but calm like a mountain, calm like an ocean, calm like someone who knows exactly who they are and no longer needs the world to validate it. Their presence becomes grounding, their honesty becomes healing, their boundaries become guidance, their silence becomes wisdom. And when they speak with the clarity of a person who no longer betrays themselves. This is the empowered calm, the calm that transforms a life from the inside out.